Okay, so the first mat that is cutting out is my patterned one. So I'm going to put this on a standard grip mat. And you want to make sure that the liner is facing down. Okay, and then I'm going to load it into my Cricut. So my Cricut is blinking, so that means it's ready to load. So just push it all the way up, push the button to load. And then once this starts to blink, it's ready to go. So you just push it and let it cut. So when the first mat is done, you'll notice that this starts blinking. So I'm just gonna push that button. And I'm gonna remove this one from the mat. And if you have two mats, you don't have to remove it, but I'm just reusing the same mat. And then this is my second layer. And you'll notice here, I want to show you, I wasn't very careful when I first took these out, and this rubbed up against something. I don't know what, but you'll see that it took some of the ink off already. So you need to be really careful with these and store them in the containers they come in. And always want to make sure your hands are clean and dry. Okay, so this one's ready to go. So you see it's already blinking again. So I'm going to load that up. And then I wait for the C to blink. And once that blinks, push it and it does its thing. So I have everything cut out. So we're gonna weed this, and then you're gonna also need a white piece of cardstock that's gonna fit inside my tote that I'm doing. Also butcher paper, and then a lint roller. And then I'm using my big Easy Press because the Easy Press needs to cover the whole design. And then also some tweezers. Okay, so to start off, I actually didn't use the whole piece, so I am gonna trim this a little bit, so I can use this for something. Okay, so for this you actually want to crack it before you peel it. So you actually kind of turn it and you'll hear this cracking, and that's when it starts to pull apart. So I'm going to put mine back on a mat just so it's easier. I need to get a spot and start pulling it up. And like I said before, this, you cut it in mirror, so it's going to look backwards to you, which is perfect. It's what it's supposed to look like. And you pull out all of the pieces inside the letters. So I got all my pieces out of this one, and it's mirror setting. So I'm going to pull out the other pieces, and then I'm actually going to add them onto this one, because with this, with the infusible ink, you don't want to press it more than one time, because it will dull the colors And if you put things on top of each other, they can bleed into each other. So these are already pre-sliced for me, so they will fit perfectly together. Okay, and again, I'm gonna roll it until I hear that cracking. Okay, so now, push the on button, and I'm gonna set this to 385 according to the transfer ink and instructions online. Push that, and then the time for 40 seconds. Oops. Blinking again, 40 seconds. Okay, so that's gonna heat up while I finish putting this together. Okay, so I'm actually gonna remove these off. I'm actually gonna put them right on the sheet with it. So I'm just pulling them off the sheet gently. Try not to get too much of my fingers in it. Oops. And this one I actually didn't put enough side on it, so I'm gonna actually attach these together just so I have a little more room. I'm going to trim this off. And trim all these extra. Okay, so now this is the bag that I'm doing. It's the 9x14 Cricut compatible tote. I'm going to put my Easy Press mat under it. And then I'm going to put my piece of cardstock in it. So this cardstock helps any bleed through to the other side. Put that in the middle. And then I'm going to use my lint roller, very important part, and roll this. If you don't get all the lint off, then the ink can set into the lint. And you'll get this, you can get some cracking and just some weird speckles on it. And especially if you have dogs like me, I just opened this bag, but still got dog hair. So, never ending, right? Okay, so then I'm gonna put a piece of butcher paper over, and I'm gonna preheat this. So you wanna make sure you always preheat it to get all the wrinkles and the moisture out of the bag. So this is just for 15 seconds. So now that it's preheated, I'm gonna let this cool completely. If you don't let it cool completely and you try to put your transfer on when it's warm, it will start transferring it. And if you're moving it around still, you're gonna get kind of ghosting and some ink where you don't want it. So I'm gonna let this cool completely down, and then I'm gonna come back and do it for you. Okay, so this has cooled down. So now I'm gonna add the ink transfer sheet. So I did use some this heat resistant tape, and I just taped these two together just because, like I said, I didn't quite cut that in the center enough, so I just added that on the extra side. So no need to worry about that if you actually cut it right the first time. So I'm gonna set this down, and I put a ruler on mine so I can kind of see where the middle is here. And then I know my middle is about where that A is. Okay. So I have that all down, and since it's kind of a big design, I am gonna put just a little bit of the heat resistant tape just so it doesn't move around while I'm pressing it. I do that, and then I'm gonna put a piece of butcher paper that is bigger than my Cricut plate. And then I'm gonna apply that on there and wait for 40 seconds. Okay. So I'm gonna take this off, and I'm gonna let this cool completely. So you want this completely cool before you take this off too. Okay, so we're back and this is cooled down. Okay, so here it is, all transferred on there. You can see the different, those were the darker blue ones that were on there. And you can see on this that it actually infuses right into that. So there's no thickness to it, no vinyl, anything. So there you have a great tote. That should last you years and years without fading or coming off.